Lights out, goodbye, hello, Fiolin, and off we go to the Western Ghats. Munnar and the towns around you, let's see what you're made of. The plan is to reach a small town called Pupara early Friday morning, stay there, finish our work day, and hit both Kalipara and Chadangapara trails just before sunset. And the following day, we would meet up with Team Dakar, take on Uchilikat together, and stay in a nearby town called Chaturanagapara. And finally, finish up with a sunrise trail the day after and return back home before nightfall. And before we move on to the footage from the trails, I will try to answer the $1,000,000 question that you all might have right now. What the fuck is a Hanuman Gear?
A lot of vehicles built for off-roading have this gear called the 4-low, or 4L. And activating this 4-low technique on your first gear gives you the absolute maximum pulling power the vehicle can physically produce, which means you can nail those crazy steep inclines without your wheels slipping. Similar to how Hanuman carried an entire mountain for his crew. The 4-low carries you through, and that's Hanuman Gear for you.
Someone from Team Dakar named this whole off-roading trip as Hanuman Gear. There's this WhatsApp group and all, and honestly, it does have a nice ring to it, because I think you need the 4-low to complete the trails safely, by safely in air quotes. And look, if this is something you'd want to do but don't want to do alone and you're in or around Kerala, go check out Team Dakar on the gram. They post every trail, send out weekly invites, and generally are doing things you'll want to be a part of. And we've reached Kalipara, the first trail on the list, and we're dropping straight into 4L before we even start. I'll let the trail do the talking and let you see the rocky climbs, sharp turns, and insane views. And this is what the final stretch of Kallipara gives you. A full open view of the Western Ghats. It gets seriously windy up here, and if you ever make it, bring a flask of hot tea. We had tea, took some pictures, and then my man pulled out his laptop and just started working. The next peak is Chathurangapara. You can see it right there, sitting next to the windmills. That's where we're headed. Chadangapara has this narrow path that cuts through tall grass, and when the wind moves through it, you can feel the whole hill breathing. You walk slowly here, not because you want to, but because you have to. One tiny misstep and the valley below stops being a view. But hey, that's exactly what makes it feel alive, right? Being at the edge, the wind in your face, the feel of grass between your fingers, the smell of something wild and green, and being this high up. Some places are beautiful from a distance. This one only gives itself to you when you're right in the middle of it. These hills have a way of making you not want to leave. But eventually we started to head back to the stay. Quick heads up, it gets very dark real quick and you don't want to be struggling to find your way back in that darkness. Tomorrow is Uchilakuth. No clue what it's going to throw at us, but honestly, I'm excited to see what it has to offer. We met Team Dakar at the meetup point and god damn, there were so many people, all of them mad, all of them excited, and all of them here for the exact same reason, taking on Uchilakuth. This is Uchilikat Peak in all her greatness and glory. For a moment, no one said anything. It's like sometimes some things don't need words. The trek down was an adventure of its own. We had come further than we realized, and somewhere around the halfway point, we all collectively made a decision that walking back up to have lunch and rest was the logical thing to do. I'm pretty sure we would have made it to the end point, but making it back, that would have been questionable. Here's the thing about going to remote places in a car: air conditioning. It can be 40 degrees of pure punishment outside, and you step in, close the door, and suddenly life is fine again. We started heading back, and I already knew I would miss this. Here, this place, this view has something special, and I have no words to describe it. Maybe next time I come during the monsoons on a bike, wet mud, slipping everywhere. I know it'll be fun, and I know for sure this will be a completely different trail. So we arrived at the meetup point around 10ish in the morning, and we got back down somewhere around half 3 or 4 in the evening. We spent a good couple of hours just sitting at the peak, and it took us a good amount of time to reach the peak because we were stopping at multiple points, making sure everyone made it through without any trouble. If the trail is dry, I think you could probably do it in around 40-45 minutes one way. In monsoons, that would be a different conversation altogether. I'll let you know when I come back and how long it takes. By the time we were back, I was running on fumes. It was the kind of tiredness that feels like, okay, I've earned this rest. And all I wanted to do was get back to the stay, close my eyes, and just crash. Next morning, we were up before the sun. The sunrise trail sits right next to Chadangapara. Quick heads up if you're traveling in or around Idiki between 2 and 5 am. The probability of you finding a wild elephant or an elephant finding you is quite high, especially if you're headed towards these wild roads. So stay alert, go slow, and apart from that, keep a jumper because it gets really chilly at these times here. The sunrise was beautiful. Kalipara on one side, Chathurangapara on the other. The light does these things that a camera can never quite capture. But hey, I did try anyway. The ride back was its own thing. Sunlight cutting through the trees, the golden hour feeling that makes you forget that you've only had 3 hours of sleep. Some fun, and a few minutes later, my camera mount hit a branch and it snapped. For a minute I panicked because all my footage was in the SD card. And luckily I found out that my camera could take a beating and walk it off like nothing happened. And my cousin had a spare mount, so that was comforting. On the way back, I started thinking about all the places and trails I've been to and how there is no real way to know what you're walking into before you go. So I want to build something for that. An expedition or a trail or a trip scale. I'll call it the quest scale. It wouldn't be a ranking that shows which place is better than the other, but rather an honest score of how difficult or how remote each one is. Something that helps you decide whether to go solo or take a group. I'll be honest, it will be subjective. Someone who has been trailing or trekking for the last 10 years will read these scores differently than someone doing it for the first time. But that's exactly who I'm making it for. The person who wants to go but doesn't know what to expect. I've been that person and this is for them. The scale runs from 0 to 10 with a green, amber and red indicator to tell you at a glance what you would be walking into. 0 to 5 is green, and let's call this the explorer class. You're an explorer if you've never done that particular activity before. You want to understand and feel what it's like. No judgment, no pressure. It's quests that you can just go and find out. 5 to 8 is amber, and it would be the challenger class. You're one of them if you've done this a few times and you know what you're getting into. You're ready to push a little further and challenge yourself from the last time. And finally, 8 to 10 is red, and that would be the maverick class. These quests are not optimal for people who just want to jump in, but these are for those who are looking for their next battle scar and push their skills to the extreme. The quest score for each activity would be based off a scoring matrix with different weightages. I'll drop the full breakdown in the description. So here's where the 4 trails from the strip land on the quest scale. Both Chathurangapara and the Sunrise Trail are Explorer class. Kalipara is a Challenger class and Uchilakuth is a Maverick class quest. If any of you is interested in taking on a few of these, figure out which class you belong to, pick your quest and just go for it. The map links are in the description. One last thing, a proper thank you to Team Dakar for having us along. These trails are a different thing entirely when you do them with people who know them.